Good morning, seekers. This here is the La Palma volcano that has erupted in Spain, in the Canary Islands. Hasn't erupted in over 50 years, and it is headed to the ocean, which is frightening because it will release toxic gases into the ocean, and it is quite the scene, people. It has wiped out, I don't even know how many homes now. But it is just intense to watch. Is it not? Look at this. That was yesterday. Footage from yesterday. How magnificent is that? Mother Earth. Wow. So, I just thought I'd give you a little something to look at while I was getting ready for a live. Oh my gosh. Everything's crazy. Is it not? We're having coffee. How's our thumbs up? Not too good, but whatever. Oh my goodness. These damn dogs are going to start barking whenever I'm upstairs. They think I need to know everything going on outside. No, I'm good. People are allowed to walk by. Not in their world, not the Chihuahua's world. So that's crazy. All right, so what's going on? 16 people in the house. Anybody say hi yet? Yeah, none of it. Good morning, Sunshine Travels. LD, Lisa Z, Jan, Ginger. I'm going to put it on live chat in case anybody new joins. So yeah, isn't that crazy? I've been watching this volcano for a week. I watched it go through and just melt and devour pools. People's backyard pools. Oh my gosh. So crazy. Alright. So, helicopters are flying over Park DeSoto down there in southern Florida, looking for Brian. Brian's parents, lawyer, of course, because these people won't say a word, says that, now here's the key statement. Here's the key words in his statement. That they don't know where he is. They hope the FBI find him. But the key words in their statement was that, because he said people are accusing them of, hiding him or some stuff. But his key words were after the federal arrest warrant. Like, that was the key word in there. That basically they probably hit him before the arrest warrant if they're smart, because if they did it now after, it was before. I think they did it before. So if they had done it after the arrest warrant, then they would be harboring a fugitive, aiding and abetting. So he was very careful in his wording after the federal arrest warrant, which was just days ago. And they've had since September 1st to set up where he could go. Do you see what I'm saying? So they know what they're doing. They totally know what they're doing. Because he was never, in the public eye. He's been guilty since day one. I'm just saying. Hi, Jersey Shore. In the public eye, he's been guilty since day one. But until the federal arrest warrant went out, he really wasn't a fugitive or anything. So the parents, could have drove him somewhere and dropped him off. But the lawyer was very smart to say, after the federal arrest warrant, they have lost all contact with him. They don't know where he is. So, there you have it. Don't take it as a sum of all things, like since the 1st of September. No. They have known where he is up until the arrest warrant. Then they had to cut all ties with him. They could say, we know where we left him. No, they'll never do that either. You know what I'm saying? So, there's helicopters in the air. They're searching I think dogs down there. Dog got involved because he was on his honeymoon, and all his fans were reaching out to him to get involved in this case. And so him and his wife were looking at it all, and they got interested in it. And they said, we can find him. He says, we'll find him in the next 48 hours. So I believe Dog, because guess what? His number is 833-TELL-DOG. 833-TELL-DOG. So people are reaching out to him and giving him all kinds of, pictures and tips and sightings. But you know how that went. The sightings everywhere have to keep being debunked as not him. Because besides that weird turtle-shaped forehead above the eyes, it kind of goes out. You know what I'm saying? And I think he has like an underbite. Because I see that in a lot of photos, when his mouth's closed, kind of, the bottom jaw is a little sticking out a little farther. There's no other identifying features on this guy. I think it would be epic if he finds him. I don't know. I think the parents keep setting up decoys, like the reserve, got them chasing their tail. So I don't know. I think they keep setting up these decoys to send everybody on a wild goose chase. We'll see. I'm going to try to look presentable. I have a couple errands to run this morning. But, WFLA, still not live yet. Look at this volcano. This drives me crazy. I mean, it just consumes. It's coming down this mountain, and it's going to wipe out all this stuff. Homes. Volcanic eruptions are intense. I mean, that lava is so intense. It's crazy. Headed straight for the ocean, which will emit toxic gases. This is on the Canary Islands, the La Palma volcano in Spain. Look at the intense heat. Hi, Tina B. It's on an island. Isn't that intense? I mean, unfortunately, it's so destructive, but, this is Mother Earth, and it is absolutely gorgeous. The glow. I wouldn't build anywhere near volcanoes. It comes down and it's gonna consume those homes. Look at that. That is insane. I don't know why I watch natural disasters, but I do. Because Mother Earth is so amazing. Alright, let's see if we got any live news yet. I gotta turn down the volume before I check. Come on with commercials. Okay, I don't give two ratty asses about the White House. Period. So let's go to WFLA Channel 8. They're still not live streaming. He put up a Twitter, but it was nothing, that great. Let me see. Oh, come on. Blah, blah. Let's see. Let me see if I can find something live. Okay. Monday morning search. Yeah, that was the Carlton Reserve. Okay. We can see Sky Fox we'll have the helicopter footage, I think. So Sky Fox live. Let's see. Fuel crisis. Jesus, Pete. Government has announced that Army tanker drivers have been put on standby in preparation to deliver fuel. So we are going to have a fuel crisis, just in case you needed to know. Oh, this? You can pick these up all day long. At Walgreens. You can get them at Walgreens in these As Seen on TV. You can get them at Rite Aid in the As Seen on TV aisle. Yep, we're going to have a fuel crisis, Uncle Boozy. That's the newest news. The government has announced that Army tanker drivers have been put on standby in preparation. I'm guessing fuels are on those cargo ships out there in the ocean, not being able to pull into port. 65 ships. I'm going to assume some of those are tankers with the crisis. Always a crisis, Boozy. Fill up your gas tank. I'm filling mine up today. Filling mine up. So what does that mean? It's going to drive the price up higher? I mean, we've already doubled, right, in the last, how many months? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 8 months. Of course it doubled like the first 30 days, right? So I was trying to watch Sky News to see the helicopter footage, but what good's helicopter footage of flying over Park DeSoto or Fort Park DeSoto, where Dog the Bounty Hunter thinks Brian is? Might be. If you can buy crude stock, I did when it went negative. Oh, all right. No big surprise, short of just crap on crap. Good morning, Christine. Someone was telling me that the Suez Canal weeks ago, I've been through the canal 4 times, and it's pretty what? Narrow. No, they're all sitting there they're not in the narrow canals. They're sitting right by ports, and they're unable to pull into the ports in New York and LA and I believe San Diego. No, Long Beach. Isn't it interesting? Dog found out where he was last seen. He wasn't last seen there. His parents were. His parents were last seen there. They went there September to this campground. They went there September 1st through the 3rd and the 6th through the 8th. Well, Brian came home on the 1st. So why would the parents go camping? Why would they make it look like all of a sudden, maybe all of a sudden, that this is their spot to camp? See, so maybe that if they did that, in my opinion, then the owners of the campground would be like, oh yeah, these people camp here. They've been camping here for a month. Like if they made a reservation for him, people got used to seeing their camper, like setting up the scene. And then they parked their old camper, not the truck camper, the older one, in there and park him in there. Do you see what I'm saying? Put him in there. So setting up the scene, I mean, September 1st, come on, is that just ironic? And this is all before, like getting everything ready before he became a person of interest, before they even knew Gabby was missing, and then dropping him off there before a federal arrest warrant. Like knowing it was coming and getting him somewhere so they're not an accessory, they're not aiding and abetting, their hands are clean. They know what they're doing. I know, it's dumb that they think we're dumb. Right. He was seen with his parents on the 6th and wasn't seen leaving with them. He was seen with his parents at home in the driveway, but nobody has seen him since they came home camping. And we don't even know what time they came home from camping, because I'm going to guess at night, because the neighbors never seen him come home with them. I don't think he's that close to other people. It'd be easy for. Let's see what that campground looks like, and that's why I said they could be creating a decoy, and maybe he is in the Appalachian Trail because he's familiar with it. He spent months there by himself, so that's more likely. But you got to check every lead. So let's see, Fort. Oh my gosh, my nose. Fort DeSoto Park Campground. Let's see what somebody did. This is coastal camping because it's right there on the coast. Okay, let's see what. I don't want to see that. Okay, so this guy does a review of it, but I think I would rather see pictures because then I'm playing other people's content and I don't want. Dog the Bounty Hunter is claiming that Brian Laundrie's parents aided in his escape. Of course they did. Of course they did. We all know that. Alright, so I'm going to go on the internet and look at some photos. Okay, so it's southwest of St. Petersburg. We're going to look at some photos. It's one of them United States Army Corps of Engineer campgrounds. And my question is, which one of his parents are like prior military? You think is the dad? See, the public, I don't believe the public can just roll in there. Oh, let's see. 10 minutes ago, Brian Enton said that the Laundrie family just left. God dang that ring light. They just left the house. 10 minutes ago. They just left the house. Oh. Track them. They just left the house, according to Brian Enton on Twitter. Okay, so no police activity over Fort DeSoto Campground or the park. We will check back. That was 31 minutes ago. Josh Benson said, we are unaware. This is Sergeant Jessica Mackesy. This is her statement. We are unaware of any confirmed sightings of Brian. We will continue to refer you to Northport PD for any further questions. Josh said, oh, this is interesting. The Utah police chief took an unexpected leave of absence amid the event. Remember when they got pulled over by the police? They found out that the police did get the 911 callers saying that he witnessed him hitting her and they did nothing about it. So yeah, the police chief took an unexpected leave of absence in Utah. Let's see what else we got. They wrapped up the Monday search. Okay, here's the full statement. Okay, there's no volume, so there's that. So this is what the lawyer said. Chris and Roberta Laundrie do not know where Brian is. They're concerned about Brian and hope the FBI can locate him. The speculation by the public and some in the press that the parents assisted Brian in leaving the family home or in avoiding arrest on a warrant that was issued after Brian had already been missing for several days is just wrong. That's where the lawyer covered their ass. See, him being with his parents, him being taken anywhere would not even matter before the arrest warrant. That's why he said, speculation that the parents assisted Brian in leaving the family home or in avoiding arrest. See, they didn't have an arrest warrant out before all that time. That's why he put that in there to let you know. Whatever happened before that arrest warrant doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter. We know what that means. Okay, so that's the most updates on Josh Benson's. Pretty soon, the WFLA will be going live. Yeah, they're off to the lawyers, I'm sure. Things are getting heated, right? That truck has a tracking device if there's an onboard mapping. Right, but you'd have to take the truck. You have to seize the truck, and they're not suspects, so that ain't going to happen. I was hoping they'd slapped one underneath, you know? And then they can keep an eye on it. Or even tap into. I don't know if that's an invasion of privacy, though. Because you do have privacy rights in this country. Just because somebody, like, wants to know something doesn't mean they have the right to know something. Search, seizure, all require warrants. So there's that. That's a felony to do without a warrant. Exactly. And it could get anyone off on a technicality. So you got to follow the Constitution when it comes to, I don't care how mad you get at people, you can't just go do things you want to do. That's what saves all of us. You know what I'm saying? In this country. Yeah, I'm waiting for WFLA. Pow, pow, pow. I wanted to see pictures of that campground, how remote it is. Let's see. I want images of Fort DeSoto. Let's see how remote it is. I do not believe that anyone could just go in there and stay because it's one of those military campgrounds, which are, I can't see him staying there. I just can't. It's closely monitored, right? We're going to look for images. I want to see what the images look like. I know it's beautiful because it's right on the one. Okay, here it is. Let's see. The Fort DeSoto Park has a little bit of everything, including history. Nope, that's different. God dang it. Let's put in... My God, stop. St. Petersburg. Because that's important. Okay, let's see photos. We're going to see if it's, I don't know, like... Okay. We're going to see if it's remote. I doubt it. I don't think it could be remote. Corps of Engineers. Right. It's available to anyone. I thought it was prior military. Okay. Turning off the light because the ring light is so freaking annoying. So let's see. There's a campsite. Really? Where's all the pictures? Really? Stupid. Okay. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, tucked away in the woods. Shelley Arthur Hedges has a question about the warrant. All right. Hey, Arthur. Did they get a warrant for digital? Yes, they already went in and got all that stuff. Yep. I don't know if it had anything to do with the truck. All they took away was the Mustang and devices in the house. Oh, it was, but now anyone can camp. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, there's secluded spots, but it's not like he would be interested in because he likes to be out in the middle of nowhere with nobody around. I don't know if it would be his gig. Maybe the parents just created a decoy. This seems... I don't know. I guess you could park and not be that close to somebody. Yeah, I know. They're managed by volunteers. Yeah. Look at that tree. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, my God. I would love this right on the water. And then it looks like they have like a common area, playground. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, the sites are more natural and not manicured. But see, you're still kind of close to each other. I can't see him being there because that's not his thing. I think they created a decoy. Even though, they went in there and started, listen, parking his car at the reserve, the car he used. He doesn't own anything. Everything is mommy and daddy's or Gabby's. I don't know. Last time I was on base, they pretty much go through all your stuff. Well, yeah, I thought that. I'm going to find out right now. Can the public stay at... Let's see. Says, although bases tend to have their own specific rules, in general, to use a military campground, you must be a military retiree or dependent or a spouse. So their son could stay there. So that's my point. I thought that was the thing. So who said that the public could stay there? They're the Army Corps of Engineer. Hold on. Army Corps of Engineer campgrounds. Let's see if the public can stay in them. I know there's rules because I wanted to stay at one in Florida, Jacksonville, down by over there off the Atlantic, and I mean Johnny's I think it's a diversion too. You gotta have a military ID too. You can go as a civilian, Boozy. Okay, I'm gonna look and see. Oh my God. I mean, they're not saying it's restricted, so to just military families, and so bizarre. God. I don't think I got enough sleep. I can feel it. Yeah, so the truth is, if it's a military campground, you have to have ID proving, veteran status or active or family. But the Army Corps of Engineer, it looks like the public can stay there. So there's that. So yeah, U.S. military campgrounds are different than the Army Corps of Engineers. So there you have it. And the use of the facilities for the military campgrounds is active duty, retired, and, whatever, spouse. And that would be like the Naval Station, San Diego, the Admiral Bakerfield Campground, the Beale, AFB, Big Bear. Yeah, so they're different. There's AFBs. So there you go. They have different titles to them. Holy hell, it's hot up here. What's going on? Oh, yeah, it's my coffee. It ignites the furnace. Always has, always will. Okay, so we're waiting for WFLA to go live so we can have live coverage of the hunt for Brian Laundrie, which I believe They're going to move. They're down there at the Fort Soto campground in St. Petersburg because a dog did some investigating and found that the family, the mother and father, had been down there September 1st through the 3rd at this campground. It's an Army Corps of Engineer campground. And then they went back September 6th through the 8th. So we know Brian came home on the 1st. So did they go down there with him? Did they have a different camper, which the neighbor stated they did? Did they park it there? Did they leave it there and they just paying for it? And then they snuck him down there. Who knows? But this is just another peg. And it could be a decoy. It could be just another throwing them off by making all these lateral moves in Florida. The Carlton Reserve, this campground in St. Petersburg. Like, they could be just, it's a smart thing to do. I mean, it's very intelligent to create some breadcrumbs that keep you away from where he is. Now, remember, they left for 3 days. 3 days. That would be an hour, a day and a half somewhere, and a day and a half back. A day and a half, drop his ass off, day and a half back. That would put you at the Appalachian Trail. You know what I'm saying? It could also put you in Cuba, Aruba. Isn't it a song? Oh my God, why does WFLA wait to go live? It drives me crazy. I mean, it's already 9 o'clock. They wait till like 10. Makes me nuts. And Orlando News is covering everything but this. Everything but this. God, shut up, drama community. Nobody knows. Get on board with what's going on in the world. Okay, Orlando News. I think it's 35, right? 35 live. Let's see. In Georgia, trailhead with time left over. Yeah, I think they dropped him off right at the trailhead. Hell, they even had time to stay, pull over the side of the road and rest. Nothing. They're still looking for Maya Volcano. And the guy of interest killed himself. He was he was really smitten with her and she wasn't interested. And then she ends up missing and he kills himself. I don't know what he did, but he definitely had issues. Listen, if you're going to hire a maintenance man to oversee apartments with young college girls, how about you vet this guy before you give him a master key to every person's apartment? This is the issue I have in this country. John Walsh said they drove over the panhandle toward Mexico, but that would take longer than 1.5 days. Now when you're down in Orlando, let's see how far it is. Let's look. And they could have drove him to any... Listen, they didn't have to drive him down there. They could have drove him and chartered a boat. Cash. You see what I'm saying? Any port along the Atlantic. They could have driven. It's an hour to the Atlantic from Orlando across. Any port all the way down the A1A. They could have put him on a boat. Chartered a private. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they have a private boat. So let's see. So, remember they went... Okay, let's see. Let's see. So, from Northport, Florida, to... You know what? Let's look at a map real quick. Oh, we'll look at a map. We'll just put... Oh, my eyes. Because, see, St. Petersburg is... you have to go across that waterway to get into St. Petersburg. And that's only half an hour from Tampa. Tampa's only a half hour from Orlando. I mean, that's a freaking hour. But on a traffic day, no, it can be a day and a half. You have a day and a half. Okay, let's see. let's just put in Miami. Let's say they got him on a boat in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, why am I was on YouTube instead of, oh my God. Okay, so Northport, Florida to Miami, distance. It's only 3 hours and 6 minutes. So, we're going to look at a map, people. Pull up your map, Google. Alright, let's see. Northport is on the Gulf side. They could have went down to Marco Island, on the Gulf side even, and put him on a boat. Send him to the Bahamas are part of the United States, so you'd have to send him down to Havana or Cuba. So, yeah, I mean, they were close. Even if they went from Northport all the way over to Miami, from the Gulf to the Atlantic, it's only a 3-hour drive. So, they could have took him, just down to Marco Island and dropped him. Hell, they could have dropped him on Marco Island. But they could have put him on a private boat. And then their hands are washed. And then they don't know where he went. You know what I'm saying? Anything's possible. He either went south or north. I think this whole campground's a decoy. They went there just to have a breadcrumb trail, but we'll see. I mean, if not, then they ended up being the dumbest, because so far they've outsmarted everybody. And if they did something as dumb as handing their driver's license over to make reservations instead of having a friend do it, I mean, I gotta be honest. The flight, hi Mark, flight radar was crazy last night. Watching the helicopter search over De Soto. Right. It's all a waste of time too, Rover. Right. Yeah, I said there's no way they're going to not look for him in the dark. For real. Now they've interrupted everybody's lives. The campground. I mean, if this family's got everybody on a goose chase, this is like Catch Me If You Can. That's probably their favorite series of movies. The Catch Me If You Can. This thing's turned into that movie Rat Race. Whoever finds Brian gets the duffel bag full of money, right? Maybe we all should go down and join the search. I will be over there in northern Georgia. It is true. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you think that this is another decoy. Because they were running out of the Carlton Reserve, and it was time to move on. So they created another decoy. Do you think so? Put a 1 in the chat. I want to see how many people think that. Because I do. He wouldn't camp in a campground. Look at all these people. They think it's a decoy. Maybe read what Kevin McHugh wrote. Where? On Google? I don't even know who Kev McHugh is. I'll go look. On Instagram. Oh, in my live. I'm like, this dude has an Instagram. It's crazy. Flowbay says it's crazy. I was just fishing there about 3 weeks ago with my son. Good Lord. They put out statements saying there would not be a search because they believe Brian is no longer there. Well, yeah, you waste over a week at the swamp because the parents told you to. I know, that's what I'm talking about. It's just they're. And then if they didn't search it, see, the mom knows how this works. She worked for the DA before, I think in New York. She knows how this works. If you make it a credible enough where it just Like, even though in their minds they may go, he ain't out here, it's 75% swamp, come on. But the car was there. The parents put the car there, come on. Brian did not drive the car there, okay? In my mind, allegedly, in my opinion. This is a decoy. So they have to search it, because if they didn't search it, and he was there, look what happened to the Utah police, right? They got the 911, they got a copy of the 911 call, they pulled them over. The 911 caller said he was hitting her. They did nothing about it. Do you see the heat they're under? The police chief just took a leave of absence. So if they created a crumb in the Carlton Reserve, right, they have to go search it. And they have to exhaust all those resources. And then, guess what? Another crumb. All these crumbs have been set up. So we already know this crumb was set up on the 1st through the 3rd at this Fort Soto. Parents went there for 2 days. Then the 6th through the 8th, right? And all they got to say is, oh, that's one of our, somebody told us to try camping there. They're going to attach Brian to everything these parents do. Because they assume Mama was carrying him like this, his little legs wrapped around her waist. She was carrying him. That's what everybody's going to assume. Wherever they were, he was. So they're not in any trouble. Maybe they went camping without him. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why their mouth is shut. Because everybody has to use their imagination, and that is probably the smartest move. So they've set breadcrumbs up. He's somewhere else. The only place he can be is when they were gone for 3 days and they took him with them. He's somewhere. You got a 1.5 day drive north or a 1.5 day drive south. Because they were gone for 3 days. And it wasn't the 6th through the 8th. Yes, it was. It was the 6th through the 8th. Because they said it was about a week after Brian got home with the white van. Nope, wrong. Am I wrong? It was after they took the white van, right? Right? It was after they took the white van out of the driveway that they all went camping. Right? Am I right? Camping on a Wednesday through Friday, then home on... Listen, these people don't work. They sell real estate. I think it was after. You're right. Okay. So the 1st through the 3rd means nothing. The 6th through the 8th means nothing. They picked up that camper or that van on the 12th. And then the family went camping. After they picked up that van, they knew that the parents were looking for Gabby. They had all that time to set all this up and figure it out and lay breadcrumbs, right? Or figure out where they were going to lay the breadcrumbs. They'd already laid the breadcrumbs at that campground. Then they said, whoa, maybe we should lay a breadcrumb over here at the Carlton Reserve. That'll take them forever. Fort DeSoto plan makes sense, especially if the plan was eventually to get out of the country via Gulf of Mexico to abroad. Right. But they didn't go camping. They haven't been seen at Fort DeSoto since the 8th. They did make a reservation, though. But they haven't been there, actually, since the 8th. And they didn't take that white van until the 12th. And that's when Gabby was reported missing, was on the 11th. So they had to put their plan in gear. And they probably had plan A, plan B, and plan C. That would be the short, catch me if you can. I mean, there are people that actually have this ability to be 10 steps ahead of everything. That's the mind of a genius. It isn't, trust me, it's not their son. It's not their son. No. That's why he drove home to mommy and daddy. Because if he was smart, he would have never involved them. He would have disappeared. He can't be alone. He can't do anything for himself. Or he would have disappeared in that white van. Or he would have left the white van with Gabby and he would have disappeared on foot. He would have disappeared on foot. They would have never found him. But no, he ran home to mommy and daddy with her van. He wasn't even smart enough to leave the van. He wouldn't even, he screwed up so much stuff along the way that they're doing damage control. You know, pulling money off somebody's account with their PIN number. Does he not know every one of them ATMs has a camera? He's not bright. He's not bright at all. So he needed them. He knew. I think mom runs the show. I think mom runs the show. And all this stuff is watching everybody run in circles. I mean, I looked at that campground. There's no way Brian would stay there. To hide? No frickin' way. It is the family. He didn't like to be around people. And he was freaking out at that dispersed camping in Grand Teton. He didn't even park in a camping spot. He parked off where you're not allowed to park. But he didn't even want to be near people in the Grand Teton. So he parked off on this weird spot. That's why people noticed the van, which he's so stupid. There would be less chance of being noticed had you parked in a camping spot. Yeah, right. I hope he doesn't kill himself. Well, it's a possibility because if he starts chasing his own tail. But if the parents, I'm going to tell you, the only way this kid is going to calm down and be comfortable is if he's in the Appalachian Trail by himself, like he did for 2-3 months, and he was completely at peace. Or they got him out of the damn country. Got him on a boat somewhere down there off the Gulf in a private chartered boat. And took him to Havana, Cuba. These are only 2 places I can see where he wouldn't make a mistake. He would not make a mistake. Yeah, he's somewhere. I still think he'll be found, and maybe even, I mean, come on. I think Dog's even smarter than that. I mean, Dog has found people in the craziest locations. So maybe Dog is just in front of the cameras creating a diversion so that Brian doesn't know he knows. Because he could have a burner phone. He could be checking all of this stuff to know what's going on, to keep ahead of it all. The parents could have a burner phone, keeping an eye on all this. And talking to him. Maybe the lawyer's even talking to him through burner phones. I think Dog will catch him. I think Dog is more, he's going to get an inside tip. You know what I'm saying? Because if you give an inside tip to the FBI, it'll stack up with all these tips. Do you see what I'm saying? Where Dog will be more like, his team will be comparing. They've already debunked some photos. His team knows what they're doing. Dog's not doing it alone. He's the face. So I think this will work out. They said the family helped him get the burner phone. So why they didn't arrest the family, I'm sure they know something. First of all, I never heard anything about a burner phone. I never heard about the family helping him in any way because they've denied it all the way. I don't know who's talking, but you would need proof that they bought burner phones. They could easily have bought them through somebody else without going to a store. I think all the breadcrumbs they left, they're not going to be stupid enough to go into a store. Like, remember the 2 bumbling idiots that got paid from the north to go down to Florida and kill that dentist? Was she a dentist? I can't remember. By her ex-husband. And he's up there with the kids. Wasn't me. I wasn't there. Those idiots came all the way down to Florida. Stopped at every place a camera was. Went in to Walmart to buy some stuff. You can't with people like that. These people are way smarter than that. Allegedly, they bought the phone at like an AT&T, and the FBI went to the store and took information about it. I'm going to look that up because I have to have proof. Did the Laundries and AT&T stores do not have burner phones? Burner phones are like what drug addicts buy. There's no chasing them. There's no contract. You buy a card and load them up. But no, there is no tracing them. Did the Laundries buy burner phones? Mamma mia. Let's see. Yeah, they're cheap phones or track phones with a prepaid service, and Fugitives will have, drug addicts, fugitives, they'll have like 5 or 6 of them damn things. It's just a phone from a grocery store, right? Or even a party store, or even a pharmacy. You wouldn't go to AT&T, trust me, because then it can track you. So people are saying if he had a burner phone that he didn't bother to register in his name, does this mean he would be able to hide it? Let's see if he can. We don't believe the neighbors. Okay. Remember when at the traffic stop when Brian told the cops he doesn't have a phone? Remember he lied to them? He lied to them. But then Gabby told the cops to remind him to bring his phone charger to the hotel. Yeah. So, but he left his cell phone that attaches to his name at the family house with his wallet. He got rid of all identifying markers. And that could be a pre-suicidal thought, so nobody could identify him. It also could be a I don't want my family to even find me kind of thing, so people will leave the parents alone. Let's see. The FBI did go to an AT&T store, but that was probably for his real phone, because they needed to pull up the text messages and all that. But you buy a burner phone on street corners. Yeah, he's running. And I think it's more apt that he's on the run. Because if you're going to commit suicide, you would have committed before you wouldn't even have come home. You wouldn't have come home. Like the guy where Maya is missing, and he became a person of interest, he killed himself immediately. Brian wants to live. He even said, once you get rid of everything is when you can do anything. Remember, he wrote that? He got rid of everything. Everything. Even his shoes, okay? Now he thinks he can do anything. You know, like he's been set free. So, no, he's more of a sociopath than he is gonna commit suicide. So this is what somebody's saying. Okay. The FBI went to the AT&T store to investigate. Hold on. His parents and him went to AT&T on the 14th in Northport and tried to set up a burner phone. You don't set up burner phones. That makes no sense. Okay, that's a crumb. That's a crumb. Think about it. It's a crumb. It's a crumb. He did not have a warrant out for his arrest yet. If they tried to set up like a prepaid phone, that's what we call burner phones. Prepaid phone, right? Okay, it's a prepaid phone. It's not you can call it a burner phone, but if you go into an AT&T, you got to give your information. The burner phones, actual burner phones, are not just prepaid phones. They're untraceable because you don't sign up for them. You load them up with minutes. You can go right to the register with cash, buy the phone, load them up. There's no tracking you. They just give you a phone number. Oh, thank you. Okay, so that was a crumb. They got him on a goose chase. So when they couldn't set it up, or whatever reason they didn't, it'll look like he don't have a phone. He's got a burner phone. Trust me, he does. It's another crumb. They're dropping little breadcrumbs so everybody will talk. You know you got enough people on the internet that'll talk. Look what the parents of Summer Wells have done to YouTube, the internet, everybody. They got people running in circles and fighting, and they're sitting in their living room getting high and laughing. Because they ain't got a worry in the world. Too confident. Too confident. Yeah, it's not going to end well for any of these people. But it's like watching Catch Me If You Can. But everything's so obvious. I mean, If you're staying 10 steps ahead, the mom is running this show. The mom, between all three of them, is the brains. Pinky and the brain. Because he fumbled up so much out west. And then he gets home, and she buttoned that blouse. She buttoned that blouse right up. She had to do damage control. She knew as soon as Gabby was reported missing, which took 10 days after he got home, they got everything done they needed to get done, set up the plan, created the breadcrumbs, because they knew the minute they found a way to get an arrest warrant, they knew they had to put in plan A, B, or C. And that's what's going on. But I'm going to tell you right now, you may get the investigation because they have a set of rules. The FBI have a set of rules. If a valid tip comes in with a little bit of evidence, like the Mustang sitting in the reserve, which you know the parents put it there and the parents took it home, that's a crumb. You know they had to follow through because that's their code. That is their rules. Dog the bounty hunter, he ain't got no rules. He's a bounty hunter. This is why the parents called the police 911 when he showed up at their door. They're like, mom's like, oh shit. Oh shit. Because he don't play by rules. Right on? Right on. He's going to get him. John Walsh, yeah, I mean, he still plays by the rules. He has to. He's got to stay in good. You know what I'm saying? But dog, no. He howls at the moon. He's not playing around. He's got these people figured out. He might have the helicopter. They said last night the helicopters were there, but today people say they're not. I'm going to tell you, Dog's team, he can stand there in Florida saying, yeah, we're down here in Florida, but his team can be somewhere else, and you don't even know it, because that's how Dog works. He gets his team sent out in different locations. They give him, and then he flies in and makes the whole, you know what I mean, episode. That's how it works. Like if you go down to Las Vegas, the pawn shop there, you go down to Las Vegas, they ain't filming every day. They ain't filming everybody that comes in the door. You got to find out what day they're filming and then bring it in, and then they got to, you got to set yourself up to be part of the show. So it isn't what it seems. Dog will get him. Absolutely. If anybody can do it, he will, because he don't follow the rules. He just, you know what? Me and you, buddy. Me and you. He found people the FBI couldn't even find. I noticed his timeline of the Laundries being seen there doesn't fit the neighbor's timeline of seeing Brian. Right. I mean, at the campground. Right. The 1st through the 3rd and the 6th through the 8th. They only went down there and camped for those 2 weekends, or just paid and put their camper down there for those 2 weekends while Brian was home to set a breadcrumb. Because everybody believes wherever the parents were, so was Brian. I feel like this. They're setting up the breadcrumbs. There was no arrest warrant. So they were all free to do whatever they wanted. Now, nobody's moving because there's an arrest warrant. They're not contacting him. The mom's definitely worried about him because now she can't contact him unless they got burner phones. Unless they have burner phones. And that's how, or the lawyer is contacting him on a burner phone and then relaying it to the parents. I don't know. Because that's his client. But it's in his best interest as a lawyer to make him turn himself in. So maybe there is no contact. Period. And that's why the mom's so worried, because, she likes to know where her baby boy is. Right? It's obvious. I'm just saying. They set the breadcrumbs up. Now, they can't have any contact with them because of the arrest warrant. So they would be helping him out, and they would face charges. I think it's the lawyer or mom's got a burner phone. And if she gets caught with that burner phone, the FBI go in there and do another raid and find that burner phone, and then they are able to get into that burner phone, then she would face charges. Like, she knows. But a mother, listen, sometimes moms, are willing to take a risk. I mean, can you imagine her having no contact and then she's going to be burying her son? Do you see what I'm saying? You think it's the lawyer? I don't know. I don't think the lawyer would do that. He'd get disbarred. I do. They bought the camper before Brian came home on the 1st. They had 2 campers. They bought that truck camper. Did you hear the neighbor? And I'm so mad because... Here, wait. I'll play it for you. I'm so mad because the reporter missed the mark on what that neighbor said. Oh, that made me so mad. All right, we're going to play it. And I want you to hear this. Hold on. I can't remember the name. What's the name of that old couple? I like them. I'll just put Brian Laundrie neighbor interview. Okay, so this old couple, not the one with the pink hair, purple hair. Let's move on. This one, this reporter, she messed up. Here we go. It's 2 minutes. You guys ready? Let me cue it up. I gotta turn up the volume. Okay, hold on. She missed the mark on this. Everybody listen, lean in. I want you to hear this. I know, I want to get a Mac computer so I could do screen stuff, but I don't have one, so there's that. Okay, so here we go.
Okay, so William, what did you see in the driveway?
Yeah, well, I was doing some work in the front yard, and, I noticed that they got a new camper for the back of the pickup.
New?
I didn't think anything unusual. They got a new camper, so they wanted to put their own touch inside of it. I saw them doing some work. Then when they prepared for their trip, I saw them loading the camper.
Now, you're talking about Brian and his parents after he returned home. Is that correct? In a different camper?
Yes, the van is his. His father has a pickup truck, which they purchased a in-bed camper,
like an attachment camper. And then you say that they packed up that camper, Brian and his mom and dad, and they went camping. Do you know that for sure?
I know. Hold on, Mark.
We saw them. I saw them loading it up, and so I assumed they were preparing for a camping trip with their new camper.
They were going for the weekend.
Yes.
So how long after he got back, alone in that white van? How long after that was this? When you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready to go away together?
That's where she missed the mark. She could have said, because they said, well, that other camper van was Brian's. They thought it was Brian's, but he was saying the parents got a new camper. So she missed the mark right there, or even right here, and say, so did the parents have a different camper before they got this truck camper? That's where they missed the mark. They could have separated Gabby's van from the parents buying a new camper. Did they have an old camper before? She missed the mark on that. It drove me crazy.
Yeah, I can't remember, the dates.
Week and a half.
Yeah, probably week and a half. I agree with that.
After Brian got home, a week and a half. So that would have put them at that campground, DeSoto, on the 6th through the 8th, right? That would have felt like a week to them. He got home on the 1st. But my question is, was the white van gone already? Because that would have put it after the 12th.
Talk to you about what you saw the parents and Brian working on this new camper and then leaving for a few days. Did they ask you about that?
I believe that we did give them that information.
We did tell them that they had gone on a camping trip for 3 days for the weekend.
Did you think there was anything unusual about that?
Well, to me...
And this is where they could be messed up on dates. You know what I'm saying? Because the white van might have still been in the driveway, and they went the 6th through the 8th. this is where it gets confusing, because I believe the white van was probably still there, because she said she asked them after he got home, right? Or after they got the camper. This is where it's so confusing to me, because they're elderly. There was proof that they camped for 3 days at Fort DeSoto, the parents at least. They checked in at a campground the first. I know. That's my point. We're trying to get this timeline. If the white van had been taken already, then it would have been after the 12th. If the white van was still in the driveway when they went camping, then it would have been the 6th through the 8th. That would have made sense. They were loading it up and they went camping. Remember, Brian was mowing the lawn. They were just living life as usual.
They were missing, yeah. After Gabby was missing, when they came to our house on Saturday night a week ago and told us they were working a missing persons case.
Yeah. Also, which struck me as odd, as I spoke to my wife about, is that the parents going on a trip, I can see that, but taking their 23-year-old son in a small camper that's on the back of the truck struck us as odd.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Thank you both. White van, how long after that was this, when you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready to go away together?
Okay, that's so important here.
How long after that was this, when you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready?
This is so important.
I assume they were preparing for a camping trip with their new camper.
They were going for the weekend.
Yes.
So how long after he got back, alone in that white van? How long after that was this, when you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready to go away together?
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, I can't remember, the dates.
Week and a half.
Yeah, probably week and a half.
There you go. So she asked the question, how long after he came home in that white van did you see them go camping? A week and a half, they're elderly. So that would make sense. He came home on the 1st. That white van was still in that driveway. It was the 6th through the 8th. There's the reservation at the campground. They all went together. Did they leave him there at that point? Because nobody's saying whether they saw him come back. So he would have been gone before they even took that van, which means maybe he hasn't been around since the 6th through the 8th. Can you imagine? Yeah, a person of interest is going to walk. I thought he said week and a half only. What does that mean? She asked him specifically, how long after Brian came home in that white van did you see them load up to go camping in that truck camper? And that elderly couple said, I don't know, week and a half. We already know they were down at a campground the 6th through the 8th. They haven't announced their official cause of death, but it's homicide. Who are you talking about, Simply Shan? Who are you talking about? For all we know, the parents were camping when Brian got home. No, he got home on the 1st. Well, that's true. They were camping the 1st through the 3rd, too, right? That is so weird, by the way. How was she murdered anyway? Nobody knows yet. They won't tell us, Boozy. Oh, man, this is crazy. The time definitely fits with what Dog is saying. Yep, true that. Do you think he may have contacted his parents on his way home and they said, meet us at this campground? Do you think maybe? Because I find it odd the parents would have been camping when he came home, the 1st through the 3rd. I mean, something's just weird. Something is weird. Maybe they were camping the 1st to the 3rd. Then they got home on the 3rd. Brian's home, and they booked another. Right? I don't have a clue. They filled out paperwork at the campsite, 1st through the 3rd and the 6th through the 8th. Right? Did they actually stay there? Do you feel like he contacted them on his way home in a panic, and then they started setting the breadcrumbs? Like, I don't know. But were they camping when he got to the house? John Walsh says he's seen the autopsy report and she was beaten to death. I wonder why John Walsh would put that out and not the officials. Doug said they actually was there. No shit. And Brian? And Brian? Yeah, I don't like sensationalism. This is Catch Me If You Can. I really like the fact that we can work together and go maybe, kind of, sort of. And we always look up the truth. I mean, I would never, oh my God, I can't stand when they do that. It was a oops on live. It was meant to be put there. Oh, no. Yeah, right? It's all a ruse, right? Yeah, I think they got into a fight, too. I think they got into a fight. There's this actual, I'm not into psychics, honestly. I'm not putting them down on what I think, but this one woman, you can look her up, she literally envisioned the whole thing, but she also envisioned the whole thing with Lori Vallow's kids. 3 months before their bodies were even found, she literally, sorry, phone calls. Anyway, she literally described exactly where they were, described the plastic bag, black garbage bag. I mean, she described everything 3 months before they found those kids. So I thought, let's go see what she has to say. And that was it, you know, that they got into a fight, it started in the van, blah, blah, blah. And it was the 28th, according to her. They got into this fight. It was about Brian's crazy obsession with no plastic, and there was a plastic bag in the van, and he just kind of has been agitated and unstable, which could be attributed to maybe a mental illness. I don't know. Or he's just a psychopath. I don't know. Anyway, so, you know, they kind of had it out in the van, and he wanted to go for a walk and get away from her. He was so, like, agitated, so he got out, he went walking, she didn't want to be left alone, so she chased after him, and he just kept telling her to shut up, like, this is what the whatever, and he just picked up an object, and it was jagged, he didn't choose it, he just picked it up, hit her, like, in the side of the head, I believe. She went down into the water, and he held her under, and then he pulled her up to shore, threw some leaves on her, and bolted. That's what that woman says. She envisioned the whole thing, but who knows? The police towed away the Gabby's van on the 12th. Parents filed a missing person report on the 11th, and then the FBI showed up and took the van, I believe, on the 12th. Yeah, horrible. She also had a whole vision of Summer Wells, and you don't even want to watch that one. It's horrible. That one's very graphic, very triggering. Very, very triggering. But this woman she doesn't go on YouTube and stuff. She just, when she gets whatever this is, she just hits record and does an audio. And then this other channel called Sweetie Pie Low, she uploads them. The van wasn't picked up until after the 14th. Let me see. Oh my God, I'm sweating. When was Gary's van seized? That's what we're gonna call it. Why'd they have to go into everything? Oh, yeah, we're gonna read the Sun. They're idiots. Okay, here we go. Let's see this. My God, even every rag magazine in the world's covering this. Everybody chasing this story. On Tuesday night, oh no, wait, that's August 12th. Oh my God, we're gonna go through the whole freaking story just to answer one question. Gotcha. Alright, if that's the way you want to play, that's the way we'll play. oh, and what everybody says and what everybody thinks. I'm out. I have to, like, I can only deal with, like, non-emotional, just fact-driven stuff. I can't deal with this emotional stuff. And then I was feeling like, nope, out. I'm out. Peace out. All right, so let me see. Oh my God, everyone's gonna be... Okay, here we go. Here's some grown-ups. Finally. I love timelines. It's so much better. Okay, so... I always check because I want to make sure we don't all put out... I don't want to put out anything that is not substantiated. I just can't. Because then I get all confused. It's not even about being a critical... I'm not even into true crime. Like, I get into cases because it's so bizarre. That's it. I really do. Okay, here we go. The 30th, the 1st. Okay, so here we go. Petito family officially reported her missing on September 11th. Police seized the van from Laundrie's home on a separate warrant 3 days later. The 14th. Ding, ding, ding. You win the prize. Yeah, they have nothing. They can't even charge him at this point. They actually have charged him. But they've charged him with one thing they can prove, solidly prove, to arrest him. And it's not homicide. Listen, I have my theories. I really have my theories of why they would hold off. I mean, they just went and got his DNA from the family's home. So they must have found some items somewhere. But I just, in my gut, think it's going to be more than just Gabby. Okay? That when they put these charges on him, it is going to be a trifecta. But the only thing they can charge him with is unauthorized use, which is a felony. Especially, just like if you write a check for more than $500 and it's a bad check, I mean, prosecutor's not going to go after you because it's like they got other fish to fry, but it could be a felony. So withdrawing $1,000 out of somebody's account with their PIN number, unauthorized use, if you're not on that account, I don't care if somebody verbally says, hey, here's my PIN number. Go ahead, take out $1,000. I could turn around and shut that person down with a felony. Do you see what I'm saying? So don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Now, husband and wife thing is different. But boyfriend, girlfriend, no. Especially when one's missing, right? So I don't know if it's hers. They haven't said for sure. It's Gabby's. It could be somebody else. Maybe somebody in Utah. Because it said accounts. So that could mean 2 different cards. Because you know it's usually a $500 limit. Could be 2 different cards. It could be checking and savings. So this could be 2 different people. But anything $500 or more on each card is still a felony. So they can get him on that for sure. He went to an ATM, I'm assuming, and pulled the money off. That was the dumbest. That's why I said he is the worst criminal. And that's why he had to get home to mom and dad, because he just fumbled his way. Yes, exactly, Terry. I feel like we're going to have a trifecta. Did one of the ladies, and maybe even John Walsh said she was beat to death, but maybe she wasn't. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe that's just to make him think they can't get him on a couple shootings over in Utah. Because if we have something concrete, he would have been a suspect. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Or maybe they do have something concrete and they're afraid he's going to, whatever. I'm just saying. Why would John Walsh slip out? I mean, how long's he been working with FBI? She was beat to death. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, John Walsh. They have not released that. If they did, they're all messing this case up. So maybe people will stop thinking about the girls in Utah. Because I find that too much of a coincidence. He was right there. he had an encounter with these girls. It's not like they were in the same general area. These people had an encounter. He's getting old. Maybe he's senile, right? Yes, I watch, I don't even know how to pronounce his channel. Igmel. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I don't understand the name of his channel, but I do watch him. I like him. He's the kind of people I like to watch because he's not like crime, the crama community. He is like right on it. What is his sister's background? I don't know. Who knows? Can you push the U and the tube together to form one word on your what? On your board? Are you having like a moment? Oh yeah, you're right. Why did that? I don't know why it did that. Okay, sorry. I know it would drive me crazy if I had to stare at that too. I got you. I'm gonna relieve your OCD right now. I have people that like. Is that better? Is that better? I'm glad you can read it. I made these jeans. Are they not cool? It's got the military flag and the star. I made them. I lost a lot of weight, so everything's getting too big. There you go. Is that better? Looky there. And also that drives my subscribers crazy, so I try to drive it down below, and then I kind of scooch down. Yeah, that drives them crazy. What drives me crazy is the space right here. I'm going to get one of them floor mirrors. Listen, I'm in a walk-in closet, okay? You think I'm kidding? All you new people? Look at it. I ain't even playing. My bedroom's got a huge walk-in closet. It's totally separate from my bedroom. The married couple, was she working at the restaurant? She worked at the Moonflower Co-op, right outside where their big fight was, where a witness called the police. Now, if he was in a agitated or manic state, they seek revenge, especially if you're narcissistic in any way. You will seek revenge on somebody you think. Like, maybe he thought Kylan called the 911 call when it was actually a guy in his car from another state. And Kylan was working at the Moonflower that day, right? And then went, you know what I'm saying? And he may have looked in there and thought, I know it was her. You never know with what his thinking. You know what I'm saying? And then he went back, followed her, and, whatever. Creeped him out and shit. That's what you think too, Terry? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and it would be a revenge, would it not? Would it not? And Kylan talked about, they went to the bar on the 13th, okay? Kylan and Crystal, they're the ones that were found at the creek's edge. They were living in a van, staying in a van. Anyway, down by this, campsite, whatever, dispersed camping in Utah. And the thing was, these are the things that got me. So they went to the bar that night. Now remember, Gabby and Brian got into a fight. They were separated. He had to go stay in a hotel. How far was the hotel from that bar? Maybe he overheard Kylan talking about some creepy guy around their campsite and how they're going to need to move. And maybe he became the creepy guy. Because he flew home out of nowhere from Utah to Florida on the 17th through the 23rd. Oh, I got to go move some storage boxes out of the storage unit. In the middle of a trip with his girlfriend. And then he puts her in a hotel, a Fairfield Inn. He flies home out of nowhere to Florida. The day before they find those two girls' bodies. Come on, way too many coincidences. Creating an alibi? We already know he's terrible at alibis. He was already the creepy guy. His websites were creepy. I know, he had really strange ideas of, trying to find his value and identify, he's trying to, identify with something and to choose, Fight Club, which was about mental illness, to just love the author. And then he was reading this weird book called Lullaby. And if you read it, about being barefoot and about all this weird shit. Weird. Even in this one photo of him at the Appalachian Trail, laying on a blanket by the creek, next to him on the blanket is the book Lullaby. People have been looking into Lullaby. And it is literally who he morphed into. Where he's one with the earth. He doesn't wear shoes. He's plastic. He, everything more. He morphed into this character. It's so weird. You got to read it. Or at least the Cliff Notes, because I ain't reading it. But he was always trying to find some identity. It was strange. Or he was just trying to be controversial. I don't know with him. You think he snapped? So do I. I think he might even had schizoid. He definitely had dissociative disorder. He didn't like being around the public and people. He loved camping, being out in the middle of nowhere. Gabby was just a light of everything. She loved people. She loved to eat out at restaurants. I don't think he liked any of that. He tried to just kill that in her. And then eventually he killed her. It is all crazy. Come on, give me a thumbs up. I only have a third. And I'm sitting here when I got to be out running around doing stuff, getting orders in. No Madness Boutique. If you haven't shopped there, go on. Oh my God, I still have. It's all right. I left, you know what? I still got my sale going on. So go in there and shop. And when I'm done being lazy, I'm going to take those items off sale. But until then, just do it. Whatever. I don't care. I got stuff to do today. But it's not what you know. It's what you can prove in the court of law. Amen, unknown. Amen. They have, since he got home, all the proving of stuff has been decoys. Putting the Mustang at the net. Mommy got involved. She's smarter than the son. Because he fumbled all his way home. He had too many encounters with people, ATMs. So he fumbled all the way home. And so he put himself everywhere. Everywhere. At the right timelines. So it's just a matter of time before they charge him with her murder. But Mommy is doing damage control. She has since he got home. Gabby's friend said Brian heard voices in his head. I know, I heard that. And that's why I think he had schizophrenic bipolar. And maybe he's out living in the Appalachians with his voices. I don't know. I know he needs help. And how the parents did not see their son is, because schizophrenia, bipolar, like he may have had bipolar as a young teen, depression, all this stuff would have showed. Depression, anxiety, all that would have showed. But then when it morphs into the voices or the visions, which gets you diagnosed with schizophrenic bipolar, that usually happens in the early 20s, the first episode. This could have been manifesting. And then when he got when he got trapped into a small van with his girlfriend, no space to get away from each other, is when it really went off the rails. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. But the parents would have known that something wasn't right. You think Gabby would have known. But she was kind of like, I love everybody. Everybody is nurturable. Everybody should be loved. She was one of those. Yeah, early 20s, mid 30s. Yeah, it's a window. My friend was first diagnosed at 23. And then it just got worse because she didn't go on medication. At first, she did go on medication. Lived a very functional life. Until she chose the natural way. And not to be on medication. It's because she missed the mania. She loved the euphoria. There's the highs. And then there's the low, low, low. And they had a great time the first time they went. Exactly, when they went to California and stuff. They had a great time. But this time, he was in a different state of mind. Unfortunately. And I believe he sensed her pulling away. So she wasn't doing everything he wanted her to do. And maybe controlling her lessened his anxiety. So she just did what he wanted her to do, so he would just not act like a bitch. Let's just say that. And then this time, she was getting sick of it. She wanted to enjoy this trip. She wanted a YouTube channel. She wanted Instagram. She wanted to create this epic photography, and he was trying to pull her in other directions. You could tell by the fights. That's what was happening. And she finally was like, no, this is what I'm doing. And I'm telling you, I will tell you that the people who allegedly gave him rides back to the van are really lucky to be alive. Amen. Yeah, he was very negative. Yes. Yes. She said he didn't believe in her. Exactly, because he didn't like social media. He even wrote down our videos. He even wrote down a thing. He played a role in those videos so nobody else would know he was an asshole. Do you see what I'm saying? So he even said, I don't know why people watch TV and melt their brains when you can escape into a book. Do you see what I'm saying? He was against everything that she was into. And he was posting it to put her down. So that's why, you know, she's like, he doesn't believe in me. No, lady, he believed in you. He just knew you were better than him. And that you could be more successful than him. And he didn't like it. I mean, wasn't she a pharmacy tech? And saved for this trip? And then quit her job to go on this trip? Whose idea do you think it was? His. He wanted her to read his books. He wanted to capture her. He already knew she was pulling away. Maybe it worked out when she was, you know, young 19 when he got a hold of her. But now she's 22. She's starting to have her own ideas. See what I'm saying? So it was all setting up for disaster, like the perfect storm. And he snapped. He didn't take her on this trip planning to kill her. He snapped. They actually reached the finale. I mean, you had a Utah park ranger tell her, even her friends told her, but this Utah park ranger who witnessed their relationship told Gabby, your relationship is toxic. Everybody's seen it. Everybody on this trip. They seen his agitated state. They seen him in the restaurant pitching a fit, her crying, apologizing. He was off the rails. Well, people do fight. But if you spend your whole trip in this agitated state, you could take it up a notch, which is exactly what happened. But I think it was the words coming out of their mouths or the physical hitting that made people say things like toxic, dangerous. People fight in public. Like, shut the hell up. No, you shut the hell up. But people aren't, you're going to leave me. You're going to take this van. You're going to leave me. I'm going to leave you. And hitting each other and throwing their shit out the window. Yeah, that's a little bit more than a fight. This is, I'm going to one-up you. This starts getting toxic. And then pretty soon, I mean, if you're envisioning it, and then it's going to happen. I think his parents have made his long-term situation worse. Yeah. And I hope they get criminal charges if they prove that they helped him get away or after the arrest warrant was issued. Anything before that, it will not be a felony. Only after the arrest warrant was issued. I do think she was waking up to the fact that she couldn't live with his craziness. I think so too, because the mom said she confided in her, I think, when they were in the hotel. When she was in the hotel alone and he flew to Florida. You know what I'm saying? So they either had broke up at that point, or she connected something, and he left. Like, she connected something like, hey, where did you get this $100 or stuff like that? Okay, I'm telling you, something occurred. Because he flew out the day before they found those two women's bodies. Anyway, I feel like something's going to come to a head. I just hope it does. I hope they investigate this the right way. Mamma mia. So he flew home, right? So they either had broken up. She kind of had a conversation with her friend, how controlling he is. She had told her mother before she went on the trip she was breaking off the engagement. And then, I feel like she was pulling away from him. She was but she wasn't smart enough to just leave and then tell him, go home, be safe. She must have known he had some sort of, out of control anger. I can't help him thinking those two women talked to Gabby and Brian and how odd he was and that she could do better. And I don't know, man. I have no idea. I think when they were stopped by the officers in Moab was the breaking point for him. Yep. And I think he was, that point, he did not want the proof out there that they weren't, because, you know, they're on social media looking like the perfect couple, the perfect setting, blah, blah, blah. He's just this nature lover. And I think all that came to a head. You know, when you reveal a true narcissist, that's when it gets dangerous. When you reveal, and it was revealed. Did you see how he was trying to act like it was nothing while she was hysterical? And I think he was pissed at her for not playing a role, for being so upset. And it made him look bad. So he was trying to poo-poo it off as like, almost like period cramps. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't cool. A real man would be like, I'd love to answer your questions, but can you tell me how she's doing? I feel really bad that we got into this fight and she's this upset. I mean, that's what a real man does. He's not like, yeah, you know, she's emotional. You know, the old good boy club. Let's have a beer. I hate that shit. He might take the coward's way out, but I think he would have done that in that moment of, what the hell do I do? Do I catch a ride to airport? I can't hike all the way to Florida. Do I disappear in the mountains, or do I take her van? You picked the wrong one. But I think he would have done it right at that point. I really do. I think he's too narcissistic to kill himself. The cops said they were unrelated. Yeah, they say they're unrelated. Yeah, they say that. Because if he knows he's going for the trifecta, or even mommy knows that they're relating it, because it was unrelated at that point, and this point, nobody's saying a word. But what if it is related? It's the way they worded it. Maybe the manner of death is unrelated. It doesn't mean the common denominator isn't Brian. Maybe the manner of death. He kind of picks up whatever's around him. So what if those girls had their own protection and he used it on them? I always say that's what happens more often than not. So what if they had their own protection and he used it on them? Maybe the manner of death is unrelated, but it doesn't mean he may not be the common denominator. We don't know. Find the creepy guy then. Find the creepy guy. Somewhere when, okay, Kylan put it on her social media and told her friends, or she told her friends. Did she take a picture of the creepy guy? Because she even said, if we're found murdered, it was him. So if you even think like that, first of all, you be gone. Second of all, wouldn't you take pictures of this person in case something happened to you? They'd be able to pull it off your phone. I would think anyone would. Anytime there's something weird and you got a weird feeling, don't you take a picture of it? I don't know. Maybe they didn't think like that. I would. So the police could find it. Maybe they saw, well, that's what I said. It was right outside the Moonflower Cafe, and Kylan was working that day with a 911 call. He may have turned around and thought it was Kylan, that Kylan could have just been on the phone. He could have turned around, looked in there, and thought it was her calling when it was really a guy in a car. So messed up. When they got pulled over, Gabby was so broken. I know. Unrelated. I don't believe that. And I think that is why the cause of death of Gabby has not been released to the public. Thank you very much. Amen. Oh, hold on. Listen, we're going to be taking a station identification break soon because I have to go pee. This is what we do on my channel. It's an old people's channel. Sometimes you got to pee. They're still not live. See, WFLA knows he is not at that campground. They would have been live already. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I knew it. I knew it. It was breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Damn it. So Gabby Petito's family is holding a news conference today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time from New York. They're going to have it on live now from Fox. I'm going to try to get back home before this so we can watch it. But what Dog said is that he finds out where he was last, and from there they can track him. Who even know if he was there with his parents, the 6th through the 8th? Nobody knows. At least they have something to start, a place to start. That's what Dog said was important, right? Okay, so yeah, they're still not live. They're not live. Damn it. All right, so if you subscribe to anything, I know WFLA will have it. This is all on YouTube. I have bipolar disorder, but have never heard voices, hallucinations, or have been suicidal. Okay, Jen, well, there's a difference between bipolar disorder and paranoid schizophrenic bipolar. There's levels of bipolar. Some are just mood, and some actually are a reality. Yeah, because I have a family member who has schizophrenic bipolar. I have a friend who had paranoid schizophrenic bipolar. There are different levels of bipolar, and it is sad. It is treatable. And then there's the really high level of a girl I worked with, and this is where it is dangerous, and she was a very dangerous person. Yeah, he was a loner and not into social media. He was when it came to him posting what he wanted everybody to get on board with. He was totally into it. Twitter, Pinterest, he put out his creepy drawings. He put out his manifestations of what is right and wrong in this country and on this earth. Like, I think he was trying to morph into the good, but everything was extremism anyway, even the bad. And I think he was trying to push away that evil thoughts by being about the earth and all this. I don't know. I just feel like he was definitely in need of help, and there's nothing we can do about it now, unless they find him. And the same thing with Lori Vallow. Remember, people were zombies, and then she was unfit for trial. And I think because she was diagnosed. And all these people followed along with her, reality of her children were murdered because she believed they were zombies. And I believe her brother either suffered from the same fate, or he just was so enamored with his sister he'd do anything for her. Nobody knows. But this is how nutty and brainwashed people can be at the hands of other people. You know what I mean? And I think Gabby, was so strong in her belief in who she was and her convictions, he could not convince her that his way of living was a reality, because it wasn't her reality, and he didn't like that. He didn't like that because he wanted her by his side, but he was willing to sacrifice her to continue on with this way of living. Because I don't even think he had friends, I could be honest. I wonder if he listened to the Toadies and Possum. I don't know, but there is some Spotify music that Gabby put up, and then he added to it after her disappearance. So I guess if you can go find it on Spotify, he added some other music. Maybe even still trumping on her. I don't know. Gabby was like the sheltered city girl. Yeah, I don't know. And Laundrie introduced, I think, she enjoyed some of it, but I think she wanted more out of it. She wanted to create the Instagram. She wanted to be, she was always thinking about building, her career, her sustainable income. You know what I mean? So she was into the whole, I gotta make a phone call back. Anyway, she was into being an influencer. She wanted to build things, and he didn't. He wanted to disappear. So they were really heading in opposite directions. Yeah, he put on a show, but you could see his distaste, unless it was what he wanted to post, like barefoot, eating out of a melon rind with a spoon in his mouth, like and she was like pretending to be totally into it. Hey, what if you're barefoot on the mountain and and you got, because she loved photography, and he's like, okay, like I'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Very odd. Very odd. Listen, I've traveled in 60 square feet with my husband for years, and trust me, you better be in sync. You have to be in sync with each other, because you can't escape each other in that small footage. You just can't. And he's outside on a yoga mat, and she didn't even know. Go watch that again. She didn't even know he was there. Like, he had taken off, because when she came out and you see the shot, I think they'd even been fighting. He took off. I think that was part of his thing. When they fought, he took off. And she was in the tent, filming. And when she came out, you seen her surprised he was sitting there. Oh, and Brian's out here doing his yoga. And I'm thinking, you didn't expect him to be there. Like, when you go back and start really looking into this. You see what I'm saying? And some things I'm sure were edited out, but I caught that. That was crazy. Anyway, guys, I got to make this phone call. I got to run some errands. I want to be back before the live New York Gabby's Lawyer thing. Come back and join us. We're going to catch some live stuff today and see what happens. I mean, this is just something we got to follow. And it's going to be so weird in months or a year from now when this whole thing is solved and we go back and look at these videos or these lives where we were trying to, summarize. We're trying to figure it out, and we'll already know the outcome. And that's the one reason why I don't like to even get involved in true crime, because it's not really beneficial to your channel, except in the moment. But down the line, everybody will know what happened. So watching any of these on a playback is going to be like, what a waste of time. We already know what happens. You know what I mean? It's like, we've already read the end of this book. It's like going back and reading it again. I'm not that person that reads something again. So I don't know. I'm trying to keep these titled so that when this is all solved and over with, I would probably be more apt to go back and delete them off my channel, because they serve no purpose. Like I said, I'm not trying to gain fame or be rich off of... I just want to do this live with people so we can bounce the ideas, and it's way more exciting to be amongst people that are in the same mind frame of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But this is not going to be any claim to fame for me at all, because I'm just not into... I'm just telling you now, those of you that subscribe, we do cover things going on, but not this deep. Where we're following this crap. I get very... I don't know, I couldn't imagine doing this every day. It's like when I took care of patients in the heart unit of the hospital, and I would read the obituaries, and they died. You know what I'm saying? And I have memories man, their family, brought me cookies for taking care of, their mom, and they made me a blanket, and they're so appreciative, if you give people tender care. And that's why, I couldn't keep following these heinous acts and this, what is wrong with this country. I like to believe people are good. And if you're constantly plucking out the bad people, then pretty soon you end up in this weird space. And I'm not into the weird spaces, but sometimes something catches my eye. And Gabby is America's sweetheart. And we're going to catch him and get him away from other people. Because I believe with people like him, this could happen again. And I won't ever forget Gabby either, or Summer Wells. And now we got Maya. And there's so many people out there obsessed with people that they're willing to kill them than to let them go. It's so weird. I don't understand it. And I don't want to start thinking, trying to figure them out. Because then you get into a space that doesn't give you, anything. It doesn't give you anything to move forward and better your life. It drags you down. That's what I think, anyway. So anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. I got to make this phone call, and I got to get on the road. I got to get some stuff done. I have no idea if they had another camper. Nobody's come out with that yet. They keep saying they bought a new camper. I just don't know. I have no idea. Okay, guys. I will see you later on. We're going to go live and cover that attorney live at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you in a little bit. Give me a thumbs up on the way out, and it'll build up the algorithm, and you will get a notification when I go live again.